Welcome, ladies and gents. Let's talk Ben Affleck's cancelled Batman movie because we've got some brand new details. Yes, this report from Variety is 2 days old, so I do apologise, but I don't really frequent Variety very often. They're alright here and there for some news. But this is interesting. Very, very interesting. So for those that want your fix of Batfleck, here it is. You're going to get your fix right now, right here. Hit subscribe if you are new here. But let's talk Ben Affleck's cancelled Batman movie. Because, of course, a headline grabber like this, it was effing awesome. Apparently. It was the best, apparently. Let's judge, shall we? Let's take a look. Let's see what was stated. Now, there are some details. It's not like deep details. I don't know why they're not revealing the details properly, to be honest. Because Ben Affleck's come out and said, no, I'm not interested in directing or working in the James Gunn DCU, so it doesn't seem like this is a prospect, but hey, who knows? Maybe he was just dodging the question. But let's take a look at it, shall we? So Jay Oliver, who is a storyboard artist, who has worked on several DC and Warner Brothers movies such as Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice, and Wonder Woman, recently opened up to Inverse about Ben Affleck's scrapped standalone Batman movie. Affleck debuted as Batman in Zack Snyder's Dawn of Justice and reprised the role in Justice League. And he was developing his own Batman movie to direct and star in before deciding to exit the role. But I don't know whether that's strictly true as a reporting there for Variety, whether he decided to exit the role or, the studio sort of made it too difficult for him. Because obviously Warner Brothers were not great at that time. Not great. So here's the quote from the storyboard artist. I can't really say too much other than it was effing awesome. Okay. It was the best. It was amazing. From my understanding, there are a couple of drafts of it. When I was brought on, I don't know whether it was the second draft or something, but it was what Jeff Johns and Ben Affleck had shown me. It continues further and says, I've worked on a lot of Batman things, and what was really cool about it was tying together a lot of really cool Batman storylines that had never been really explored. Ben's story was going to cover something that had never really been covered in comics, but was building off of storylines in the Batman mythos over the last 80 years and approaching it from a new kind of perspective. Interesting, because Ben Affleck in 2019 said he left the Batman movie because he just couldn't come up with a version for the story. I couldn't crack it. So that's interesting. Kind of flies in the face of what the storyboard artist is saying here, doesn't it? To be fair. But never mind. Continues further. And says it was very clever. And there were a lot of things about it that I really loved. That I wish that had come to fruition. It was a really great project in the beginning. Ben had to step away for personal reasons, and I totally understood, but the time that I spent with Ben working on the project was fantastic. Maybe someday I can spill the beans, but I still can't talk about it. It sounds kind of like he's, I don't know. Wasn't this when Ben was like falling into alcoholism again? And this was his sort of excuse. Couldn't come up with a version. Couldn't crack it. I don't know. Interesting stuff. I mean, we've heard a lot of rumours and rumblings about this. This is the kind of closest we've got to some... I hesitate to say some... Lots of information. I mean, it's not really, but we're getting some new details. I mean, 80 years of mythos. Storylines that had never really been explored, but still building off of storylines. Interesting. A new kind of perspective. Doesn't sound massively great to me, only because when we hear modern take, updated, new perspectives, I always get a little bit irked right there. Always a little bit irked. But also attached, Variety reports here to Affleck's version of the film was the cinematographer Robert Richardson, who had previously worked on Affleck's Live by Night, and in a 2019 interview On the Happy Sad Confused podcast, Richardson confirmed Affleck's Batman script was finished. Not exactly beloved by everyone involved in the film's development. He said Affleck's film would have showed the darker side of Batman. And this is what I mean, this new perspective, fresh take, updated. Darker side of Batman? We don't need to... we don't need to see a dark side of Batman. Batman's dark as it is anyway. And says this, well, Affleck was going more into the insanity aspects, Richard said. So I think you would have seen something a little darker than what we've seen in the past, and more into the individual who is inside Batman. What element may be sane and what element may actually not be sane. So he was entering into a little more of the Arkham. As you know, he's going into where you keep everyone who was bad, everyone that shifted, and Batman. And so that whole aspect was it was very fascinating to go to the darker side of Batman. What? He was going into Arkham? What, Arkham Asylum? And then he would sort of go down a barrel of darkness, I guess, to his, his own level of insanity, I guess. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, I don't know. This doesn't sound massively great to me, personally. And his sort of get out of jail free card was like, I just couldn't crack it. Whatever. Just couldn't come up with a story. Meh, I don't know. What do we think? Honestly, what do we think? Effing awesome. It was the best. Believe it when I get a little bit more tangible stuff. This, in fairness, does just sound like a bunch of PR nonsense, but I don't know why, because unless this chap is trying to get some work with DC now, I guess. I don't really know. But there you have it, ladies and gents. Fresh take, new perspective. Meh. It always makes me a bit concerned. What do you guys think, though? Concerned to hear that, or does that make you super excited? I'm personally one of those people that actually quite liked The Batman, so I don't hate that film at all. Would I like to have seen a Ben Affleck directed and written movie? Yeah, I think it would have been interesting. Don't know if it would have been Batman, for all intents and purposes, a Batman that we know and love anyway, and true to the mythos. Definitely doesn't sound like it if he's going into depths of insanity. But anyway, never mind. Let me know what you think down below. Would love to hear it. Hit subscribe if you're new. Give the video a like and a share. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.